afternoon, I'm Mike Santoro.
And I'm Lauren Gelfman.
I'm Charlie Wachtel.
And I'm Jessica Welch. We're here to take you back to 1956 when Memorial School first opened its doors. So, here's what happened.
Television became the new American pastime. During the 1950s, television replaced radio as the most popular form of home entertainment. Television sets became more affordable, viewing screens got bigger, and reception also improved. The first TV shows were much like the ones on air today: sporting events, news programs, and game shows. The most popular comedy was I Love Lucy. The weekly program became such a sensation that some department stores installed public TV sets so that customers could watch while they shopped. The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet featured Ozzie and Harriet Nelson and their well-behaved teenage sons, David and Ricky. Like I Love Lucy, Ozzie and Harriet based their scripts on a life of a typical American family. Of course, the Ricardos and Nelsons were far from typical. Most of the scenes in Ozzie and Harriet were set on weekends, so the boys would not appear to be missing school.
In 1956, Procter & Gamble introduced Crest, the first fluoride toothpaste. The role of fluoride in preventing tooth decay first came to the public's attention when cities began fluoridating their water supplies. Crest became the best-selling toothpaste in the country, replacing Colgate Dental Cream, which held the top spot for 80 years.
Allen Ginsberg became an instant celebrity once Howl and Other Poems was published. Howl described the wildness of the 1950s. Ginsberg and other writers of his generation soon came to be known as beatniks because of the jazz music they adored.
Shake, rattle, and here comes rock and roll. A 21-year-old Memphis truck driver sang, shouted, and crooned his way into the hearts of America's teenage girls. They screamed and fainted when Elvis Presley moved closer to the audience. Parents didn't allow their teenagers to watch him perform or listen to his music. Boyfriends threatened to break up with their girlfriends if they went to his performances. Girls who went came home and broke up with their guys.
Elvis Presley introduced us to rock and roll, but many did not think he was here to stay. His music was an amazing blend of country, rock, and blues. Adults protested, "His music will corrupt our children. You can't even dance to it. It'll never last." Ed Sullivan, host of weekly TV variety show called Elvis, unfit for a family audience. Young people didn't agree. They mobbed Elvis's concerts. They bought millions of records. In 1956, Don't Be Cruel and You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog became the longest-lasting #1 rock and roll singles in music history. Both were #1 for 11 weeks. When Ed Sullivan changed his mind, Elvis appeared on his September 9th show.
On a more serious note, the Supreme Court ruled in April that bus companies in the South could no longer force blacks to sit at the back of the bus. Segregation in public transportation was ruled unconstitutional. The whites-only signs came down from the fronts of the buses. It was a happy day, but the tension wasn't over. The bus boycott, organized by Dr. Martin Luther King, continued until black bus drivers were hired for mainly black routes. The struggle for equal rights still had many more battles to win.
No more shots. Thank Dr. Albert Sabin if you'd rather swallow your polio vaccine than get it through a needle. On October 6, 1956, Dr. Sabin announced a new polio vaccine that could be taken by mouth. It first had to be tested for safety on humans. Large-scale tests started with prison volunteers in 1957. When the vaccine proved safe, the oral vaccine replaced the Salk shot.
Turning to sports, it was the World Series' only no-hit game. In fact, it was perfect, meaning no Dodger ever made it to first base. Don Larson of the New York Yankees made baseball history in 1956. He pitched the game against the Brooklyn Dodgers in the 1956 World Series. His pitches helped the New York Yankees win their 17th pennant. That game was a one-in-a-lifetime moment in sports.
15-year-old Edson Nascimento's mom scolded him when he sneaked a soccer ball into bed with him at night. She didn't want her son playing soccer. They were a poor family. Her son had little chance of being noticed, but he kept practicing with his neighborhood friends. His friends nicknamed him Pele. Edson did not really like the name, but it stuck. Despite his mother's doubts, Pele was discovered. In 1956, Pele scored so many goals that the national team of his country, Brazil, found a spot for him. Fans were shocked and pleased that this small giant would play all the way up to the World Games.
Pele came to America years later in 1975 when the New York Cosmos signed him. The fans in the United States were crazy about Pele. They were glad his mother's predictions have proved wrong.
Stay tuned. Memorial Minute coming up next.
Grow up, would you like to be a cowboy? Everybody knows they eat Cheerios. Each day you'll get Go Power like a cowboy. If you know your oats and eat Cheerios, you're gonna be strong and be a bronco busting man. With the Power breakfast, you can. Thanks to Cheerios, those tasty Toasty-Os.
Yes, Cheerios, made from oats, nature's most nutritious cereal grain. Toasted golden crisp for specially delicious toasted oat flavor. And a Cheerios Power Breakfast gives you power protein to help you grow strong. And energy vitamin B1 that gives you Go Power.
He's got power. There he goes. He's feeling his Cheerios. If you know your oats, you too will go for the Power Breakfast Cheerios.
What do Around the World in 80 Days and Yul Brynner have in common? They're both the best of 1956. Learn more about the year in our Memorial Minute.
John F. Kennedy wrote Profiles in Courage, a Pulitzer Prize biography. A Vice column, Dear Abby, premiered. The first portable electric typewriter went on sale. Videotape was first demonstrated to the public. The first National Wheelchair Games were held in Long Island in New York. The official flag of the United States Army was adopted. Dwight D. Eisenhower became the first president to fly in a helicopter. Congress adopted the motto In God We Trust. American Bandstand premiered on network TV. The Italian liner Andrea Dora sank 60 miles off Nantucket after colliding with the Swedish liner. 52 passengers lost their lives. Knock, knock. Stop! Wrong show. We only have a minute here. The Montreal Canadiens won the Stanley Cup.
World Series won by New York over Brooklyn, score 4-3.
Let's wish a happy birthday to Joe Montana, professional football quarterback, June 11th. Martin Hanford, creator of Waldo, September 27th. Martina Navratilova, tennis player, October 18th. Larry Bird, basketball star, December 7th.
And now, let's return to A Peek at the Past.
Back in Washington, D.C., Dwight D. Eisenhower was re-elected president in the 1956 election. It was the greatest landslide since Franklin D. Roosevelt swamped Alfred M. Landon in 1936. Perhaps TV coverage helped. The former World War II general and the man with the big grin was the first president to have a television news conference. It aired on January 19, 1955. On June 6, 1955, he became the first to have a telecast in color. His October birth date might have helped him win the election, too. More presidents have been born in October than in any other month.
Jessica, perfect segue to our next story. Had a tough commute this morning? Freeways changed the face of America, starting in 1956. That's the year our highway system was begun. President Eisenhower signed the bill in June. He okayed billions of dollars to build a network of highways. Americans were traveling more often and for longer distances. Trucks were replacing railroads for shipping food and many products. Drivers wanted direct routes without traffic lights. Planners proposed a network of highways that would connect America's major cities. Today we travel coast to coast with the same road system that was begun in 1956, and it's still growing.
Here's one from the Truth is Stranger Than Fiction files. It seems that a woman named Bertha DeLucchi wanted her bird to fly freely around her house, but she didn't want the mess that might come with it. So she invented a bird diaper. In 1956, she received a patent on her invention.
And that's the poop from 1956.
Have a pleasant day.
Hi, I'm Greg Hunter.
I'm Michelle Edison.
Wendy out here. And Stephanie Fernandez.
Hi there, I'm Sylvia Zachary.
And I'm Justin Senior. We're all here to play
It's a Match,
where you must match our answers to score points and win big prizes. Let's meet our host, Brianna Pelican.
Hi everyone, I'm Brianna Pelican, and I'll be your host for today's game. You've met our celebrity panel. Now, let me introduce our contestants. Contestant number 1 comes from East Brunswick and goes to Memorial School, where her favorite subjects are math and science. Her hobbies include tennis and soccer. Let's welcome Marin Rosenberg. Contestant number 2, and this is quite a coincidence, also comes from East Brunswick and goes to Memorial School. He's in the 5th grade and his hobbies are basketball and computers. Say hello to Josh Smith. Okay, contestants, to play our game, you will be asked a question to which there are many popular answers. You must think of an answer that you feel most of the celebrity panel will say. At the same time, our panel will be writing the same answers to the same question. When time's up, we'll check all the answers and see if we have any matches. Each of our rounds will have 4 questions, and each match is worth 5 points. You've met our celebrity panel, so let's play It's a Match. Good luck to both of you. The first question is for you, Marin. Which fast food place is the most popular with kids? While you're thinking of that answer, celebrity panel, write your answers. Okay, Marin, which fast food place is the most popular with kids?
The most popular food place would be McDonald's.
Great answer. Celebrity panel, what's your answers? Greg?
It's a match. I chose McDonald's.
Okay, Michelle.
You're in luck. I also picked McDonald's.
That's 2 matches. Wendy?
Wow, I picked McDonald's too.
Stephanie?
It's another match. I picked McDonald's.
Sylvia?
I picked McDonald's too.
If Justin picks McDonald's, you'll have 30 points, Marin. Justin?
And McDonald's is what I picked.
30 points. Great job. The next question is for you, Josh. Name a popular breakfast cereal. Celebrities, write down your answers. Josh, what's your answer to name a popular breakfast cereal?
The popular breakfast cereal is probably Cheerios.
Great answer. What do you have to say about that, celebrity panel? Greg?
We have a match. I chose Cheerios, Josh.
Michelle?
It's a match. I picked Cheerios.
Good one, Josh. I picked Cheerios too.
Stephanie?
Sorry, I chose Lucky Charms.
Close but no cigar. Sylvia?
I picked Lucky Charms. Sorry, Josh.
Well, we still have 1 more to go. Justin, what'd you pick?
Josh, I picked Cheerios.
That's 4 matches. Great job, Josh. That's 20 points. Marin, the next one's for you. Name something that comes in a pair. You heard it. Write down your answers. Marin, what's your answer to name something that comes in a pair?
Something that comes in a pair would be shoes.
Great answer. Celebrity panel?
Sorry, Marin, I chose socks.
Terrific answer, but not a match. Michelle?
It's a match. I picked shoes. You're in luck. Another match. I picked shoes too.
Stephanie?
It's a match. I chose shoes too.
Great job. That's 3 matches. Sylvia?
I chose shoes. It's a match.
Justin?
It's another match. I chose shoes.
Great job. That's 25 points and 5 matches. Terrific job, Marin. That's 5 matches and 25 points added to your score. The next question is for you, Josh. Name a Disney character. Okay, celebrity panel, rate your answers. Okay, Josh, what's your answer to name a Disney character?
That one's an easy one. I'm going to say Mickey Mouse.
Great answer. Well, I wonder if you have any matches because there's so many Disney characters to choose from. Greg?
I almost picked Goofy, but I picked Mickey.
Michelle?
Guess Mickey was the one to choose. You got a match.
Wendy?
Good choice, Josh. I picked Mickey too.
Okay, Stephanie.
It's a match. I chose Mickey.
Sylvia?
You're in luck, Jess. I chose Mickey too.
And Justin.
That's 6 matches. I chose Mickey.
Great job. 6 matches, 30 points. You're almost catching up with Marin. Next round, we'll see if the 5th graders can pull ahead. We'll be right back after this short message from our sponsor.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a MTV kid. So many shows on MTV to really flip your lid. From news shows to game shows, all the way. It's the best TV station there is. Gee whiz! I don't want to grow up, 'cause baby, if I did, I wouldn't be an MTV kid.
Welcome back to our game. The 4th graders have 55 points, and the 5th graders have 50 points. Our contestants and celebrities have changed for round 2. So let's introduce our next panel.
Hey, I'm Matt Fasul, ready to play round 2.
Hi, I'm Surya Shivakumar here. Hi, I'm Alexis Rich. Hi, I'm Amanda Anderson.
How you doing? I'm Eric Gantner.
Hi, I'm Jessica Ho, and we're all here to play round 2.
And now, let's meet our next 2 contestants. He's into building things and loves learning about the Titanic. He's in the 4th grade and enjoys ILA and gym. Let's welcome John Kowal. She's a dancer who loves to shop. This 5th grader enjoys gym and music. Let's meet Ashley DiStefano. Okay, John, your first question in round 2 is, would you rather be the youngest child, the oldest child, or an only child? Celebrity panel, while he's thinking of his answer, write down your answers. Okay, John, what's your answer to, would you rather be the youngest child, the oldest child, or an only child?
I would like to be an only child.
Great answer. Let's see what the celebrity panel has to say about that. Matt, John said that he'd rather be the only child. What do you have to say about that?
Sorry, John. I got oldest child.
Too bad. Suya?
Unfortunately, I got youngest child. I'm so sorry. I got youngest child.
Amanda?
Sorry, John. I picked oldest child.
Eric?
Too bad, John. I picked oldest child, too.
And Jessica.
Sorry, John. I also got oldest child.
I'm so sorry, John, but you didn't get any matches that round. Your score remains the same. Okay, Ashley, your first question for round 2 is, name a character on Sesame Street. Celebrity panel, write down your answers. Okay, Ashley, what's your answer to name a character on Sesame Street?
I'd have to say Big Bird.
Great answer. Let's see what the celebrity panel has to say. Okay, Matt, what's your answer?
Well, Ashley, as a Cookie Monster would say, that's good enough for me. I got Big Bird.
It's a match. Surya?
You made a good choice, because I got Big Bird also.
Alexis?
Sorry, Ashley. I got Elmo.
Not a match.
Aww.
Amanda?
Great choice. I got Big Bird.
It's a match. Eric?
Great job. I picked the man who taught me my ABCs. Big Bird.
And Jessica?
I love that yellow bird. Big Bird.
Great job, Ashley. That's 5 matches with a total of 75 points. Now it's John's turn. This one's a fill in the blank. The best night to watch TV is... Okay, celebrity panel, write down your answers. John, what's your answer to the best night to watch TV is...
I would have to say Friday night.
Great answer. Celebrity panel? John's answer was Friday night. Let's see how many matches you can get out of this one. Matt?
Well, John, every Friday you probably say TGIF, but I say TGYSF. Thank God you said Friday.
It's a match. Surya?
Well done, John, because I got Friday also.
Alexis?
Good for you. I got Friday. Unfortunately, John, I got Saturday.
Too bad. Eric?
Oh, too bad, John. I put Saturday, too.
And Jessica?
Sorry, John. Better do your homework. I got Saturday.
Great job, John, but only half the panel agreed with you. That's 3 matches and 15 points, added to your grand total of 70 points. Now, the 5th graders get one more question. Ashley, the question is, what time should a 10-year-old go to bed on a school night? Celebrity panel, write down your answers. Okay, Ashley, what's your answer to what time should a 10-year-old go to bed on a school night?
I would probably have to say about 10 o'clock.
Great answer. Let's see what the celebrity panel has to say about that. Matt, what did you say about that answer, 10 o'clock?
Too cool, Ashley. You just got yourself 5 more points.
Okay, Surya.
You're in luck, because I got 10 o'clock p.m. also.
Alexis?
Good job. I got 10 p.m.
It's a match. Amanda?
Got 11. You got 10 o'clock.
Great answer. Eric?
Oh, too bad. I got 9:30.
Not a match. And the last answer for a game is Jessica?
Hooray! I got 10 o'clock.
Great job, Ashley. That's 5 matches, and we add that to your score. You got a total of 100 points.
Book characters come to life in our next show. Stay tuned for Meet Our Book Friends.
I have a friend. She She lives in a book. Her name's Mrs. Jewell. Let's take a look. Her class does weird things that are very funny. Sherry fell asleep, and Joe couldn't count money. Each child has a problem. That's very strange. But there's nothing Miss Jewell can't arrange.
They like to have fun and break the routine.
If you read this book, you'll see what we mean.
I have a friend. She lives in a book. Her name is Sophie. Let's take a look.
She saw a giant while she crept out of bed. In reached a hand and took Sophie and said,
"Do not be frightened. I'm the BFG. I will not hurt you. Just come with me."
If you want to know what happens next, get this book and read the text.
I have a friend. She lives in a book. Her name's Trigonona. Let's take a look. She is a witch who has special powers.
I cure people for hours and hours.
She hired Big Anthony to do her chores.
But then the pasta will fool the floors.
If you like pasta and magic too, read this book. It's just for you.
I have a friend. She lives in a book.
Her name is Annie. Let's take a look.
I am an Abo who takes care of sheep. When my grandmother died, I started to weave.
She lived in a Hogan and learned how to weave.
Her grandmother taught her what she should believe.
Her respect for nature showed till the end. Read this book and make a new friend.
I have a friend. He lives in a book. His name is Wilbur. Let's take a look.
This is the world's most lovable pig. He lives in a barnyard. That's very big.
Charlotte the spider is his best friend. She watches over him till the end.
You'll really enjoy your trip to the fair, and you will wish that you were there.
I have a friend. He lives in a book.
His name is Charlie. Let's take a look.
He looked for a ticket in a chocolate bar.
When he found it, he felt like a star.
On the big day, he went in with 4 others too.
Those 4 other kids wouldn't make it. That's what I knew. Charlie was the only one to give back that treat.
For the rest of his life, he had chocolate to eat.
I have a friend. He lives in a book. His name's Cat in the Hat. Let's take a look. That cat gets into a lot of trouble. He put a fish into a bubble. I love to wear my big striped hat. He dances and sings and does all of that. A mess over here, a mess over there. They'd wish I'd get out of their hair.
I have a friend. She lives in the book. Her name is Amelia. Let's take a look.
She gets into trouble, mixing things up. She dresses a chicken and measures the cup.
She put dust in the room instead of taking it out.
Instead of silent reading, she started to shout. Amelia was silly and always confused.
When you read this book, you'll be amused.
He lives in a book. His name is Grandpa. Let's take a look. He told his grandchildren a wonderful tale about a town without any hail. Instead, all kinds of food fell from the sky, like meatballs, hamburgers, spaghetti, and pie. It rains orange juice and soup, too. If you like food, this book's for you. I have a friend. He lives in the book. His name is Robin Hood. Let's take a look. I have companions, Little John and more. Robin Hood steals from the rich and gives to the poor. My dream is to marry me, Mary Ann. Lots of help from his merry men. If you love bows and arrows and shooting them too, then this book is just for you. I have a friend.
He lives in a book. His name is Sam. Let's take a look.
He tried to convince a man to eat
Some kind of crazy colored meat. The person you ask would always say,
no! Everywhere that Sam would
go.
When he finally tried it, he liked it a bunch.
Now I'd eat it for breakfast, dinner, and lunch.
I have a friend. He lives in a book.
His name's Alexander. Let's take a look.
This little boy had a very bad day.
He wanted to move so far away.
I fell in the mud and got gum in my hair.
He got toothpaste on the clothes he would wear.
I couldn't have the sneakers I wanted to buy.
He surely felt like he would cry. I have a friend. She lives in a book. Her name is Jerry. Let's take a look. She has a brother.
My name is Leo. It's possible that this story is real.
In an institution I used to stay,
Till her parents brought her home one sunny day. The neighbors complained about the commotion she made. Would they have to move? Her parents were afraid.
I have a friend. He lives in a book.
His name is James. Let's take a look.
A giant peach. Is it really true? If one grew on your tree, what would you do?
James' 2 aunts are so nasty and mean.
The greediest people you've ever seen.
Excitement is in store for this young lad.
The wildest adventure I ever had.
I have a friend. He lives in a book. His name is Ralph. Let's take a look.
He rides around on a little toy bike. He meets a friend that he will like.
I get into danger with a big cat.
When you read this book, think about that.
He has funny adventures with his friend Garfield. They're best friends, and his secret is sealed. I have a friend. He lives in a book. His name is John. Let's take a look.
I love chocolate ever so much.
In fact, he got the chocolate touch.
He went to school to take a test.
His pencil turned to chocolate and he couldn't do his best.
All he touched turned to chocolate candy.
Read this book. It is so dandy.
I have a friend. He lives in a book. His name is Milo. Let's take a look.
He wants to be perfect in just 3 days. He reads a book to find the ways.
He has to wear broccoli around his neck. He can't eat food, not even a speck.
To be perfect, I always yearn.
But perfect is boring. That's what he learned.
Welcome to the show that has everybody talking, Chit Chat. Our special guests for today's show are Mayor of East Brunswick, William Neary, and former kindergarten teacher at Memorial School, Miss Sicknick. Please give a warm welcome to our hosts, Kyle Gruber, Amanda Dolinsky, and Lauren Haber.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Chit Chat. We're so excited about today's show. Imagine the mayor taking time out of his busy schedule to visit us.
I got lots of questions for him.
You know, he owns Dairy Queen. Maybe we can ask him what his favorite flavor of ice cream is.
Maybe. We'll see.
Coming up in the second half of the show is our former kindergarten teacher, Miss Sicknick. We miss her.
I know she keeps in touch with a lot of the teachers, but now we get a chance to ask her about some of the things we'd like to know about.
This is shaping up to be one terrific show. Well, let's go to the commercial break and get started.
Okay, we'll be right back after this commercial message. Don't go away.
Are you broke?
Are you looking for good bargains?
Do you have bad credit?
Are you cheap?
Well, we have a place for you.
Come to the Nothing Store, where we have absolutely nothing to sell.
At the Nothing Store, you'll find
Nothing! In fact, we're always having a sale.
Our prices are so low that you'll just fill your cart up to the brim with
Nothing! Did you promise your child something for a good report card?
It won't cost you a bundle because we have
Nothing
to sell.
Come to the Nothing Store. We are conveniently located
Nowhere! Enzo Pilot calls. We have no phone.
Welcome back to our show. Now let's introduce our first guest. He's the mayor of East Brunswick. Let's give a warm welcome to Mayor Bill Neary.
Hey, Amanda. Hi, Lauren. How are you? Where's Regis and Kathy Lee today?
What exactly is the job of a mayor?
What exactly is the job? The mayor's job is pretty much to try and organize and coordinate all the different departments in town, like the police department, like the Parks and Recreation department, make sure your garbage is collected on time, make sure your streets stay paved. It's kind of the person who's in charge of all the different employees who work in town. And at the same time, you also represent the residents of East Brunswick to make sure you do answer some of the questions and problems they have. And part of the job also is to be able to come into Memorial School on an afternoon and meet with the students.
Why did you want to become the mayor of East Brunswick?
Why? I never thought about becoming the mayor until about a year ago. And I think I wanted to become the mayor so that some of my ideas have an opportunity to be heard, so that the people can talk to me and I can talk to them about some of the things I think is good for our town and our community. So I want to work to help East Brunswick stay and become a better town.
Are there special requirements to be a mayor?
The two special requirements is you have to be 18 years old and live in East Brunswick. That's the only requirements. And get more votes than the other guys.
What is your office like?
My office is not very fancy, but I put a couple pictures in there. I put a picture of my son and my wife and a couple pictures on the wall and brought in some plants this year. And I have a big desk with lots of papers on it and a telephone. And then I have a little conference table where people come to visit me. We sit around a conference table to discuss some of the issues we have to talk about.
When did you decide to go into politics? Have you held any other political positions?
Well, politically, I became a politician when I answered an ad in the Sentinel, the newspaper you get every week, that the Democratic Party of East Brunswick was looking for candidates. I had never done anything political before that. I didn't know who the Democratic Party of East Brunswick was, but I sent in a resume and I sent in a questionnaire that they had asked me to fill out, and they called me in for an interview and they asked me if I would run for town council. And 2 years ago, I got elected to township council, and I served 2 years as a councilman. And about a year ago, this time of the year, the Democrats asked me if I wanted to run for mayor. So after convincing my wife that it's not such a funny idea, she says, you could try for it, you could go for it, and good luck. She didn't expect me to win. I wasn't sure I was. But now, a year later, I'm sitting here being introduced to the mayor. So it's been exciting 2 years, but basically I never did anything political before. But I did have the requirements. I was over 18, and I lived in East Brunswick.
How do you like being the mayor? Is it what you thought it would be?
I like being mayor. I'm enjoying it. It's a lot harder than I thought it would be. It's a lot longer work than I expected to be. There's a lot more questions that I have to have answered every day, and there's a lot more problems that I never imagined that I have to face. But that being said, doesn't mean hard work isn't fun. I'm enjoying every bit of it. And every day I get to meet new people, and I get to talk about new things, so that's kind of exciting for me.
When you were our age, what did you want to be when you grew up?
When I was your age, I was at Central School, and I watched a high school being built across the street from Central School. The high school was brand new and being built at that time. And so when I was your age, I thought it would be really nice to drive some of those big trucks that were taking all the dirt into the high school and building all the high school. As I got older, I wanted to be a Major League Baseball player. Then I wanted to be a school teacher. And eventually, I guess, after I was married and had a baby and was settling down, I wanted to own my own business. And that's when I purchased the Dairy Queen.
How can a student become involved in their school or town?
You're already doing it right now. You're involved in your school. You're involved in your town. You just continue doing the same things. You find something you like and you know you can contribute to the community. There's so many things you do. If you're playing sports or if you're in the scouting or you do those kind of things, you're contributing to the good things that are part of East Brunswick. and you continue to look at the good things in East Brunswick, and you want to help the causes of good things, you're accomplishing a great deal.
What advice would you give to a young person who might someday want to get into politics?
The most important thing probably is to understand the history of where we are today in terms of not just politics, about the people who've been here before you and the ideas that they had, and work with those ideas to see how you can contribute to a better tomorrow. So constantly understand the entire spectrum of things in the history of your town, the history of your nation, your history of your state. And if you know a lot of things about what happened before you, you have a better understanding of what you can do in the future, and then you get involved in it. Make sure you vote all the time. Make sure you have a chance to talk to your elected officials. Your elected officials are just your neighbors, just like I am. I mean, I'm your neighbor. The councilmen are your neighbors. We all live in this town. We all work in the area, and we all try and do what we can for the town. You can do the same thing. You're welcome to do it.
By the way, what is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Well, one of the things you learn in politics, don't play any favorites at all. So I don't have any favorites, but I do tell you that Dairy Queen is the best. I'll say that.
Thank you, Mayor Neary, for coming to our show. It's been a pleasure having you. You've been a wonderful guest.
Thank you very much.
The second guest on today's show is someone I'm sure you all know. She was the former kindergarten teacher here at Memorial School. She taught here for over 30 years. Let's give a warm welcome for Miss Sicknick.
What have you been doing in your retirement?
Do I have to tell you? Teasing. Well, I have been doing some traveling. As you may know, I went to London this summer with Mrs. Florick. I went down to Atlanta to the wedding of one of my former students. I spent a couple of weeks in Florida. I've been catching up on all my reading. I've been working with the senior citizens of East Brunswick. I deliver library books. And let me think, what else have I done? Once in a while I come back to Memorial School. Not too often, I don't want to bug you.
What do you miss most now that you're not teaching?
Can you guess? What do you think I miss most?
Students?
Absolutely. The kids, the people I worked with, the activity that goes on in the school all the time. My apartment sometimes gets a little quiet.
How did you feel when the garden was dedicated to you?
I was elated. I was honored. And you may recall the day the garden was dedicated that I was a bit weepy. But you can be sure that when I got home, the first thing I did was call my sister and tell her, call all the people I knew and tell them. And of course, I have a lovely album that one of the mothers put together for me that has all photographs of what happened that day. And every time I ride down Innis Road, I check to see how the garden's doing, and I see that it's well protected with that high fence now that the construction is going on.
What made you decide to become a teacher?
What made me decide to become a teacher? That was a long time ago. First of all, back when I was young, there were actually about 3 things a woman could do: be a secretary, a nurse, or a teacher. And I decided I wanted to be a teacher. Another reason being that I really respected the teachers that I had very highly. A third reason, I just enjoy being with children and teaching them whatever I can.
How do you feel about children making mistakes?
You really want to know that? You don't know? Are you ready? I have a special secret children ought to know. It's about the little mistakes you make as you begin to grow. If you make a mistake, you shouldn't start to cry. Mistakes are not so bad, and here is why. Help me. 'Cause everyone makes mistakes, so yes they do. Your sister and your brother and your dad and mother too. Big people, small people, matter of fact, all people. Everyone makes mistakes, so why can't you? You remembered.
What did you like doing best in kindergarten?
I loved reading and sharing stories with you. The Hungry Caterpillar, Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day, Brown Bear, Polar Bear, Pizza for Breakfast. I enjoyed reading them, sharing them with you, and the activities that we used as a follow-up. I loved reading. I also loved singing, believe it or not. Even though I don't think I have the best singing voice, that was one of my favorite activities.
What is figgy pudding, and why didn't we ever get any?
Figgy pudding. Well, I'm not sure I know what figgy pudding is, but it is a word in a song that we used to sing every year at Christmas time to Mr. Zussman. We wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and you know the second verse. Now bring us some figgy pudding, now bring us some figgy pudding. I assume that figgy pudding is a pudding made of figs, and I believe that the English probably served it as a holiday specialty. I never did find out what it really is, but if you really want to know, I suggest you check with Mrs. Krause in the library. I understand she has a recipe.
We hear you've traveled a lot. What have been some favorite places?
Well, this past summer I traveled to London, and London is one of my favorite cities. I've been there several times. You may know that I lived in the Middle East at one time, and I did get to travel to places like Turkey, and Israel, and Egypt, and Kenya, and Iran. These were some of the more exotic places. I enjoy traveling throughout the United States. One of my favorite spots is Alaska and the Canadian Rockies. And just about anywhere I put my feet and travel to, I seem to enjoy.
Have you taught anywhere else, and how is it different?
Most of my life, I've taught right here in East Brunswick, and most of my teaching years have been right here at Memorial School. But in 1964, I left and went overseas to a tiny country in the Middle East called Lebanon, where I taught European children mostly, European and American children. It was a one-room schoolhouse, which was quite different from what we have here. I had 18 students in my class, ranging from grades 1 through 6. They spoke many different languages, though I taught in English, and they did speak English. Our days were longer. We started at 7:30, and we didn't get out until 3:30. But they were children just like you, and I enjoyed being with them.
What was your most memorable moment in teaching?
You know, I'm not sure there's any one moment that was most memorable. It's just all the little things that add up to one great big teaching experience. I remember the little hugs that I'd get as you'd walk in the door. I remember out of a clear blue sky hearing someone say, "You're the best teacher I've ever had," even though probably I was the only teacher they'd ever had. I remember hearing out of a clear blue sky, "I love you," or on those days when you would be working on an art project, all of a sudden you'd all burst out in a song that we had just been learning. Or what else can I, oh, you know, what I really loved, when you were so proud of something you had done. Your face would light up and your whole body, you'd stand so tall, and it would light up the whole room. I used to love that, when you people were proud of something that you had done.
What's your best memory of Memorial School?
My best memory of Memorial School is probably some of the things I just said. Again, the children, the people, the first days of school were always exciting to me. I always said that if I taught 100 years, I'd always have a few butterflies in my stomach, being very anxious to meet my new students. The end of the year programs that we had, remember when we practiced, sometimes they seemed like they were going to be a disaster, but you always pulled together and really shone in those programs. And what else can I say? Just the whole experience is memorable. Oh, the day the garden was dedicated was a memorable moment too.
Well, thank you for coming to our show, Mr. Dick. You've been a great guest, and we've had a terrific time having you.
Thank you for having me. It's been great being back.
We had a lot of fun on today's show. We hope you did too. Bye from Chit Chat.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Reach for the Stars. We have a really big show for you this afternoon, brimming with the unusual talents from our 4th and 5th graders. Our show is so big, we present to you just a small sampling of the students who someday may just reach out and grab a star.
Lies the seed that with the sounds of in the spring becomes the rose.
And magic is one of my hobbies. Today I'm going to do a magic trick for you. Maybe you can figure it out at your home. My assistant Lauren is going to help me. First we're going to pour the water into a cup. Now we're going to switch all the cups around. I bet you can't figure out which cup the water is in. You can? Well, we'll just have to turn it over.
Would you like to swing on a star? Carry moonbeams home in a jar and be better off than you are? Or would you rather be a fish? A fish won't do anything but swim in a brook. He can't write his name or read a book. To fool the people is his only thought. Although he's slippery, he still gets caught. But if that sort of life is what you wish, you may grow up to be the fish. All the monkeys aren't in the zoo. Every
I'm going to play a Mexican cantor arranged by me.
Sleep. Aren't any floors for me to sweep? Not in my castle on a cloud. There is a room that's full of toys. There are 100 boys and girls. Nobody shouts or talks too loud. Not in my castle on a cloud. There is a lady all in white, holds me and sings a lullaby. She's nice to see and she's soft to touch. She says, Cosette, I love you very much. I know a place where no one's lost. I know a place where no one cries. Crying at all is not allowed. Not in my castle on a cloud.
Coming up next, A Peek at the Past Part 2 with your anchors Matt Danzig, Emily Gollop, Lisa Chin, and Blake Siegel.
Good afternoon. I'm Matt Danzig.
I'm Emily Gollop.
I'm Lisa Chen.
And I'm Blake Siegel. We're here to take you back to 1957 during Memorial School's first year. Here's what happened.
Is TV in trouble? ABC, CBS, and NBC had more open spots than they could sell for the new fall season. It looked like television's first unprofitable season in its 10-year history. Could the slump be due to boring TV shows? One new idea was pay TV. Viewers could see good things on pay TV and medium or poor shows on free television. In 1957, networks decided to stick to the tried and true formula, westerns and situation comedies. Some of the popular shows were Father Knows Best and Roy Rogers.
The opening of Leonard Bernstein's West Side Story dazzled audiences with its originality and spirit. A modern version of Romeo and Juliet, set in a poor New York neighborhood, set two gangs against each other, the White Jets and the Puerto Rican Sharks. The show's social awareness broke new ground in the musical theater.
Just when the rock and roll craze had many parents in a panic, Pat Boone saved the day. The clean-cut singer had smooth manners, a gleaming smile, and white buckskin shoes. He was a top Ivy League student and later the father of 4 daughters. He had 3 million selling records. I'll Be Home, I Almost Lost My Mind, and Ain't That a Shame. Much of his music jumped with a rock and roll dance beat. The difference was that Pat, unlike Elvis, stood still when he sang. A huge new audience approved and looked for more. Stay tuned for sports after a word from our sponsor.
Come on along and play along on the king-size Kit Kat Heater!
Kit Kat, snacks the candy bar. Kit Kat, 4 in every bar. Each chocolate stick is crispy with the richest taste by far. Kit Kat is the name and it's the snack stick candy bar.
Get Kit Kat for 10 cents or get the new 5-cent size!
The top 10 TV shows of 1957 were
Number 10, You Bet Your Life.
Number 9, December Bride.
Number 8, The Restless Gun.
Number 7, General Electric Theater.
Number 6, The Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp. Number 5, I've Got a Secret. Number 4, Have Gun Will Travel. Number 3, The Tales of Wells Fargo. Number 2, The Danny Thomas Show. And the number 1 television show was Gunsmoke.
The top 10 songs for 1957 were...
Number 10 song is You Send Me by Sam Cooke.
Number 9, Wake Up Little Susie by the Everly Brothers.
Honeycomb by Jimmy Rogers.
Number 7, Tammy by Demi Riddles.
Number 6, Young Love by Tab Hunter.
Number 5, April Love by Pat Boone.
Number 4, Teddy Bear by Elvis Presley.
Number 3, Jailhouse Rock by Elvis Presley. Number 2, Love Letters in the Sand by Pat Boone.
And the number 1 song of 1957 was All Shook Up by Elvis Presley.
The 10 best-selling fiction books in 1957 were...
Number 10, Atlas Shrugged.
Number 9, Below the Salt.
Number 8, On the Beach.
Number 7, The Scapegoat.
Number 6, Elise in Paris. Number 5, Blue Camellia.
Number 4, Rally Round the Flag Boys.
Number 3, Compulsion.
Number 2, Peyton Place. And the number 1 fiction book for 1957 is By Love Possessed.
On August 20th, owner Horace Stoneham announced that he would move his New York Giants baseball team to San Francisco at the end of the current season. On October 8th, the Brooklyn Dodgers revealed their plans for a move to Los Angeles. Both teams cited opportunity to build larger stadiums in the booming state of California.
And now, closer to home. In August, Ford's new line of cars in over a decade rolled off the Detroit assembly lines. The car was the Edsel, named after the only son of Henry Ford. 3 years of research and planning went into the Edsel. Millions of dollars had been spent in preparations to make the car. It was to be the American family dream car. Advertising events for the Edsel built suspense.
When the Edsel was finally unveiled, curious shoppers flocked to the showrooms, but few came to buy. Ford did everything it could to get the Edsels on the road. It offered bonuses and cut prices. People wouldn't buy them. They wouldn't even steal them. During the time Edsels were being manufactured, only 1 Edsel was reported stolen. By November 1959, Ford called it quits and stopped making Edsels. The company lost millions of dollars. What went wrong? Experts sum it up by saying it was the wrong car for the wrong market at the wrong time. Edsel owners who kept the cars have been able to sell them to classic car buyers for big profits. And the English language got a new slang word for error and failure: Edsel.
Tops in tennis. Althea Gibson was so poor that she could not afford a tennis racket or lessons. Worse, even if she could, she would not have been allowed to play in most tennis tournaments because she was black. But a playground leader was impressed by the way Althea played paddle tennis in a park near her home in New York City. He brought her a tennis racket, and Althea became a winner.
Soon after, Althea became the first black person invited to enter the national championship tournament in New York. 7 years later, in July 1957, Althea Gibson stood in the center court of the World Tournament at England's Wimbledon. The Queen of England and 16,000 fans watched as Althea won the match in less than an hour.
Smoking is shown to promote cancer. A committee of experts appointed by the National Heart and Cancer Institute reported that cigarette smoking causes lung cancer. The 7-member panel said more research was needed on the nature of the link, but the evidence justified public health measures against smoking.
The Cat in the Hat and all that. Theodore Geisel, also known as Dr. Seuss, wrote a fun book, but no publishers liked it. Who on earth wants to read a book about the Cat in the Hat? The pictures are odd and the rhymes are even worse, said the publishers.
But Dr. Seuss didn't give up. In 1957, Random House saw things differently and published The Cat in the Hat.
The picture book became one of his most popular stories for beginning readers, using just 223 different words to accompany his goofy drawings. Seuss tells the story of a mischievous and messy cat who entertains 2 bored children on a rainy day. The book caught on with adults who had a hard time giving up their copies to their kids.
Goodbye. The Cat in the Hat says that's that.
A peek at the past is done at last.
Students at Memorial School have lots of opinions on just about everything. We took our cameras out and around the school to gather some of their special advice.
Hi, we're taking a survey. We want to know what one tip you would give your parents to make them a better parent.
One tip that I would give my parents is not to yell or scream whenever we get a bad grade or something, because it makes us feel like upset when they yell.
Thank you. Hi, we're taking a survey. We want to know what one tip you would give your parents to make them a better parent.
Well, something I might tell a parent is they could give money to a child at the beginning of the day, and when they don't behave, take money away.
Okay, good tip. And you? Well, what I would do is I'd just say, you have to buy me any toy that I want to buy. Okay, and what's your tip?
Just let us stay up longer at night. Instead of 10 o'clock, let it be 11 o'clock.
Okay, thank you. Hi, we're taking a survey. We want to know what tip you would give your parents to make them a better parent.
Well, Diana, the tip I would give my parents to make them better is that they should let their kids try and pick what time they should go to bed. I mean, like, they know if they have school tomorrow or if they have a test, so they should be able to choose.
Hi, we're taking a survey of what tips you would give your parents. Well, I'll probably let them, the advice, make me more allowance, because, like, we work very hard.
Second. Stop! You guys!
Hi, we're taking a survey. We want to know what tips you would give your parent to make them a better parent.
Our choice of dinner. Later bedtimes.
More allowance.
Same with me.
They should listen more.
Hi, we're taking a survey of what tips you would give your parents. What would be one of yours?
Well, I don't think they should punish kids because everyone makes mistakes.
And we're asking you the same question. Your answer?
Don't yell at kids.
Okay. And you?
To have a later curfew.
Okay.
To pack better lunches.
Hi, we're taking a survey.
Well, I think I should go on more trips.
Okay. And you?
To believe the children because they usually don't believe us.
What tip would you give your parents to be a better parent?
Stop yelling at us. Pay more attention to us. Listen to us more.
I think they should stop yelling. Thanks for your answer.
Hi, we're taking a survey of what tips you would give your parents to be better. What would be yours? Well, I'd have to say spoil them like crazy, because you probably wanted to be spoiled when you were a kid, too.
Okay.
The information I would give my parents to be better parents would be to say no if you don't want them to do something, so they'll know that you really mean business.
I would tell my parents to keep the kids active and not make them bored, because if you make them bored, they'll get angry at you.
I think they should stop giving the kids what they want, because then they just be spoiled.
I think the parents should buy kids bigger clothes in advance, so they don't have to bring the kids all the way to the store and then have them try the clothes on.
Well, maybe for them, if a child says that they didn't do something, don't keep on saying that they did it.
Hi, I'm taking a survey of tips you would give your parents. What would be one of yours?
Buy us presents first so we don't bug them to buy it for us.
I would let more people dress the way they want.
Okay. Hi, we're taking a survey. We want to know what tip you would give your parents to make them a better parent.
The tip I would give my parents would be later bedtime.
Thank you.
Hi, we're taking a survey of tips you would give your parents to be a better parent.
I would tell them not to yell at their kids and be nice.
I would say not to spoil them, because they might get all snobby and everything. They don't appreciate anything. And when you try giving them something, it's not enough.
I think parents, they should spend more time with their kids so that their kids won't feel so lonely.
I suggest you should be more fun and play more games with them, so the kids won't go off telling everybody, I have the most boring parents in the world.
I would give them an allowance.
We want to know what tip you would give your parents to make them a better parent.
Help me with my homework.
Hi, we're taking a survey. We want to know what tip you would give your parents to make them a better parent.
Never yell or make things worse. I would probably have to say, let them play their music as loud as they want them to.
Go to sleep late. Extend bedtimes. Probably to let kids have at least one pet.
So there you have it. The parents, I hope you listen to your kids and the advice.
Because we want you to make some changes to make yourself better.
Now it's time to say goodbye to all the work we've done. MEMTV show, gee, we've had such fun. MEMTV, lots of work. MEMTV, lots of fun. Forever we'll remember this great year. We worked together, fourth and fifth, making videos. Time and effort, patience to create all these shows.
have two friends they teach at our school.
We think that they are really cool.
They had an idea to start a TV station.
The final results were quite a sensation.
They worked on the station for hours and hours.
It's almost as if they have special powers.
These great memories will always last.
Let's see what happened in a peek at the past.
This news show goes back to 1956.
Jailhouse Rock was Shirley the Kiss.
The book poems were really a success.
From the BFG to all the rest.
The talk show is called Chit Chat.
Interviewed was Bill Neary, a Democrat.
There was a game show called It's a Match.
It was too bad when they got a mismatch.
How could we forget Man on the Street?
People were surveyed and some got cold feet.
We really enjoyed working on this station.
That's why we gave this presentation.
Thank you, Mrs. Bloom and Mrs. Forte.
We'd like to repay you in some special way.
While working, we may have said, I disagree.
But in the end, we all enjoyed Mem TV.